Here are 35 sentences about the culinary history of Vermont. Vermont's rich culinary history is deeply rooted in its agricultural past. The Green Mountains have long been a hub for dairy farming, with cows producing an abundance of cheese and milk. The state's fertile valleys were once home to apple orchards and maple syrup producers. French-Canadian immigrants played a significant role in shaping Vermont's cuisine. They introduced techniques like sugar boil and pannage, which remain essential to the production of maple syrup today. Apple cider became a staple in many Vermont households, often served warm with cinnamon and sugar. The introduction of European settlers brought new ingredients, including wheat and rye, which were used to make bread and other baked goods. Vermont's dairy farmers developed a reputation for producing high-quality cheddar cheese, which remains a favorite among locals and visitors alike. The state's famous Cheshire County apples were renowned for their flavor and texture, making them perfect for snacking and baking. Maple syrup production became an important industry in the 19th century, with many Vermonters still relying on it as a primary source of income. The maple leaf became a symbol of Vermont's pride and identity. Vermont's early settlers relied heavily on game meats like deer and wild turkey, which were hunted in the state's vast wilderness areas. Fishermen from New England also fished off Vermont's lakes and rivers, providing a source of fresh seafood for many communities. The introduction of European cooking techniques allowed Vermonters to create more complex dishes, including stews and roasts. The state's fertile soil and mild climate made it an ideal place for growing a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. Apple cider vinegar became a staple condiment in many Vermont households. Vermonters developed a strong tradition of preserving food through canning and pickling, which allowed them to enjoy their favorite flavors year-round. The state's many farmers' markets were once bustling hubs of activity, where locals would gather to buy fresh produce and socialize with one another. Vermont's cuisine was heavily influenced by its Native American heritage, particularly in the use of wild game meats and berries. The state's many fall festivals celebrate the changing of the seasons with apple cider pressing, pumpkin carving, and leaf peeping. Vermont's strong dairy tradition also led to the development of ice cream, which remains a beloved treat throughout the state. The introduction of European baking traditions allowed Vermonters to create elaborate pastries and desserts. Maple syrup played a starring role in many Vermont recipes, including traditional pancakes and waffles. Vermont's cuisine has been shaped by its proximity to Canada, with many French-Canadian dishes like tourtière, a meat pie, becoming popular throughout the state. The state's rugged terrain also led to the development of hearty, filling foods like beans and cornbread. Apple butter, made from apples cooked down until they're soft and jam-like, is a classic Vermont spread. Vermonters have long been known for their love of comfort food, with dishes like meatloaf and mashed potatoes remaining staples throughout the state. The introduction of European winemaking traditions led to the development of Vermont's thriving craft beer scene. Vermont's cuisine has become increasingly diverse in recent years, with many new restaurants and cafes opening to showcase the state's unique flavors. The state's many farmers' markets are now bustling hubs of activity, where locals can buy fresh produce and artisanal goods. Despite its small size, Vermont has a thriving food culture that showcases the state's rich agricultural heritage. Vermonters take great pride in their local cuisine, which is deeply rooted in tradition and community.